Hey guys, welcome back to another video of Scrub League. We have a top place at our locals. This is Elemental Heroes. This is Clayton. Say hello.
What's up, guys?
We are here with obviously one of your best cards in the deck.
Oh, yeah, of course. So a little bit to kind of start off. This is a really nice deck to run if you more often than not just really want a really special summon heavy deck, or just want a nice deck that hits hard, gets in fast, gets out fast. And if you like playing with your extra deck a lot, this is the deck for you. It's personally one of my favorites starting out from the beginning of my interaction with Yu-Gi-Oh! But I've improved it over time, and this is where we're at now. And it's a really consistent deck. It's got me in tops for most of my plays. So we'll go and start with the deck profile now.
Yep, sounds good.
All right. So mandatory 3 of, in my opinion, you want to run 3 Elemental Hero Stratos. You need this card most often than not to play heroes effectively because he is your searcher. He can get a search off of both a normal and a special summon. So any way that you can get him out, if you don't get ashed or anything like that, you can most often get a search that'll help you extend your plays. So you want to keep him either as a 3 of more consistently, or have some ways to search him out, which the deck has plenty of ways in order to get him out effectively. And then moving on from that, the second most important card in the deck, in my opinion, would be Vision Hero Ferris. Easy special summon. All he requires is that you pitch a hero from your hand in order to special summon him to the field, and then you also attach a Vision Hero from your main deck to the Spell and Trap Zone, which is the main archetypal effect of the Vision Hero release. He's really good. Not bad stats for being a level 5. Just kind of easy special summonable monster that extends your plays, gets you free graveyard material. Overall, great card. Run 3 if you're running Elemental Heroes, most likely. You could knock him down to 2 for other variants, but for this variant specifically, run 3.
Right.
Moving on to his search target, we're playing Vision Hero Increase. So Increase is the usual target that you will get off of his effect in order to set in the Spell and Trap Zone. Main reason being is that he can tribute a Vision Hero that you control, or any hero you control, in order to special summon himself from the Spell and Trap Zone to special summon a Vision Hero from your deck. And this is most effective in order to get your other Vision Hero that you play, Vision Hero Vion. Honestly, I would say in terms of searchability and being able to make plays and getting access to the rest of your deck, he's the second best card behind Stratos, because he plays and he searches your poly. That's one of your biggest plays, is getting to your fusion monsters and being able to have high access to the rest of your deck via dumping to the graveyard and being able to banish certain targets that you need either gone or in your banish zone for other plays. So moving on from that too, we have your 2 of Shadow Mist. Normally I see people run her at 3, but I don't think it's that much of an importance when you have such an easy way to get access to her without having to directly draw her. But beyond that, she's a fantastic card, having the once per turn send from anywhere to get a search for a hero card, having the effect to be special summoned from the graveyard and get a mass change for free out of your deck is great, especially for some of your options for your extra deck monsters. Fantastic card. Run 2 to 3, 2 by preference of my own, but 3 is also good too for any other variants if you would like. Mandatory 2 of, because of the ban list at the moment, we have to run 2 Malicious. Malicious is a great target for some of your extra deck monsters. One of your extra deck monsters actually specializes on getting him out and using him as search material. Great for making extended plays. You get him as an extra material. Usually you dump him off in order to get him as extra material or polymerization material in order to go into most of your extra deck monsters. But overall, great standard card. Just play extender. Usually run whatever you can of him. He's
because he'll always flip flop from 2 to 3.
Yeah. He can be a bricket sometimes though, so be wary about that. But
there's plenty of ways to ditch him out of your hand in this deck.
That is very true. But to effectively use them, run 2. Going into our 1-ups, so we're gonna go and clear the board here for a second. We run our 1-ofs. We run 1 of Elemental Hero Solid Soldier, So Solid Soldier, he's your obligatory normal summon. He's your Goblin Bird. Before that, the heroes often had to run Goblin Bird in order to fully utilize getting heroes out of your hand with extra material to normal summon and special summon. But he became the substitute for that, and he's a far better use for that, due to the additional effect that if he's sent from the field to the graveyard as fusion material, you can actually bring back a level 4 lower hero from your graveyard as well. So it's further play extension. In addition, as I mentioned Shadow Mist earlier, she can get the mass change off of being special summoned from the grave. So he's a fantastic card. Following up with that, we play one of Liquid Soldier for practically the same reason. Normal summon, but he goes into the graveyard instead of the hand. And he can also be used as a draw 2, discard 1 in order to get materials from your graveyard in order to use them for extra deck plays, draws. He has a secondary effect that allows him to be used as a draw 2, discard 1 if he is used for a fusion summon, either by being sent to the graveyard or banished. So, great card. Play one of them at the most because he kind of can be clunky at any other number. So, by preference, run as many as you want, but I run one. Going up next, move these guys to the side a little bit, we run Plasma. This is an archetypal floodgate. Most of my matches, going first, this is your best option. One of your best main deck options as of now, because, the skill drain on legs is not bad whatsoever.
Yeah,
it's
I'm lost to
fantastic.
it.
Yeah, we had a match against the Drytron deck that you'll actually see on this channel if you check out more videos on Scrub League. This was actually a linchpin in that deck, and it's fantastic. It's worked for many others, but it is susceptible to removal by other means. But it's a great option for going first. Setting it up with your other extra deck monsters is not a bad idea. Your other option for your one-ofs, I run one of Honestios. He's a great little thing to fall back on. He's a free 2,500 attack boost, giving it to any of your hero monsters. And if somehow you manage to get him out on the field, you can actually pitch heroes from your hand to give him the additional attack instead. But more often than not, you're going to be using him to either go for game, send him off in order to protect your monsters, or use him as material for some of your extra deck monsters. So, great little card. Run one of them, two might be a little bit much. And my other one for the heroes, we are running one Evil Hero Adusted Gold. He is completely optional. You don't need to run him to have an effective hero deck, but he boosts the consistency and the ability to run an effective hero deck more due to his ability to play probably one of the most effective hero fusion monsters in the game right now. But I do call him an option due to his price right now. He's very expensive due to the fact that he's a short print, so you do not need to run him, but I prefer to just by preference. And moving on from our one of hero monsters, we're completely done with all the heroes in the main deck. Moving on from that, we have the hand traps of the deck. We play one Droll and Lockbird, and we play two Ash Blossom. So these, traditionally, like any other material or any other cards that you would run in the deck, they're great for interruption plays going second, preferably, because you are going second deck being heroes. You more often specialize in being able to wait for your opponent to go on their first turn, and if you have these in hand, being able to use these to interrupt plays and then effectively shut them down and then go for game. Droll and Lockbird I play for decks like Salaman, Great, and any other deck that searches for a large majority of the time. And for any other deck that goes into their deck to add to hand, I play Ash for that reason. So, and you can vary these by preference. Whatever deck is going on at your locals or at a competitive tournament that you're going to, you can vary these at all. I just keep at least 3 spaces in here for hand traps. And then moving on, that is the end of the monster line. Now we're going into our spells. From our spells, we play what I call a mandatory 3 of Emergency E-Call. It is your obligatory search, get a elemental hero card. It's one of your best searchers in the deck. It's easy, seeing in your hand. you can basically equate it to having any of the other copies of the hero monsters in your hand to start off with. But it can be easily ashed or stopped by any hand traps, so be careful how you use it. You might want to like think about exactly how you're wanting to play it. Following that, we play 3 of Mass Change, since this deck is a pretty heavy user of masked heroes in terms of being able to play like some of your extra deck targets and being able to set up certain boards. Mass Change in this deck is probably it's not one of the easiest cards to search, but like you can still search it out with Elemental Hero Shadow Mist whenever she special summons from the graveyard. So overall, it's a great target. We main deck 2 Twin Twisters, mainly for the reason that spell and trap removal more often than not nowadays is like not focused on main deck wise. But we equate it to like being able to be prepared. So Twin Twisters having in your main deck is not a bad idea whatsoever.
And there's Mr. My player at our locals, so.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that here in a second, actually. So we're gonna move on. That's the last of our multiples that we'll actually talk about in a more direct tone.
Yeah.
Moving on from that, we play 1 of Rhoda, very self-explanatory. Search any one level 4 or lower warrior monster to your hand. And all your monsters that you play in the main deck, except for your hand traps, are warriors. So any of your level 4 or lower monsters that you want to search with that, you can go and grab them. You can get a Dusted Gold to set up your plays. It's fantastic. We play 1 Super Poly. We have 1 Super Polymerization target in the deck, which we will get into later. But having this in order to interrupt plays and interrupt cards like Dragoon is fantastic. Obviously recommended for any hero player that likes to interrupt plays or just have some sort of control over the board state. We also play our fusion spells. We play 1 of Miracle Fusion, we play 1 Dark Calling, and we play 1 Polymerization. So these are all of your, all 4 of these are your obligatory fusion spells for the deck. These can be recycled via one of your extra deck monsters that you apply, but we like to keep all of these fusion cards up and ready for any use necessary. So I only run 1 of each because you're able to recycle them, like I said, but be careful how you use them because they can go out of your hand quickly if you're not prepared. So we'll clear these out. And then we do have another we just play 1 of Regeki. It's very self-explanatory.
And why not?
And 1, a hero lives. Free special summon if you control no monsters. Usually go for Stratos with this to get your free search. Yep. And then last of the main deck, at the time I did run, and this is completely because of competitive viability, not local viability. And I'm saying this now, I did run 3 Mystic Mine whenever I was making this deck. This is a completely optional card in this deck. It runs absolutely fine without it. And I would say if you're going for a more competitively viable high-tier rogue strategy with heroes, run this card. It's fantastic. You can set up combos with your extra deck monsters, more specifically one of them that we will go into later. Other than that, you can side these out for anything, add more hand traps, add spells or traps that would help influence your plays a little bit more. I personally run 2 Nibiru and a Monster Reborn in place of this for other heavily special summoning decks and just for the extra material whenever I go into it. So play these at your discretion. If you don't want your locals to hate you, don't play Mystic Mine.
Yeah.
But it is a good card, I will say that. Not dissing it in any way, just saying it's a very annoying card. It's created a lot of salt in the Yu-Gi-Oh community. So we'll move on from that now. Just keep that in mind.
Moving on to the extra deck.
Yep. So for our extra deck, space is pretty tight, but the majority of what you have in terms of your extra deck is pretty self-explanatory. We'll start off by going into the Masked Heroes. So your water target is Masked Hero Acid. Fantastic card. Combining it with another one of your Elemental Hero Fusion monsters in terms of using Mass Change is pretty much one of the best plays that you can create in this deck. It's the closest that this thing has to a full board wipe. For our win target, we play Blast. Blast is kind of slept on, honestly. He is a free, summonable, like, half of a Great Tornado. Like, this deck doesn't play Great Tornado, but, like, he's a great substitute for it. And on either player's turn, you can pay 500 in order to bounce a spell or trap back to the hand. It's a great substitute for what would otherwise be another spot in this deck, and it's quick playable. So, great little card. Going into our other targets, we have 2 Darklaw, probably one of the best extra deck options in the game, I would say. Most, like, some decks that don't even run heroes will play Mass Change 2 and run Darklaw for the sake of him being a macrocosmos on legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for the sake of him being a searchable, like he's a searchable, like, playable body that can, like, stand the test of time if you play him right. But in other cases, he's a little rickety if you don't have anything else to back him up. Like, he can be blown over pretty easy just by being run over or being removed. So usually play him when you have insurance, but play him by yourself if you're confident enough that you would be able to, like, have staying power with him. Our other dark target is Anki. Anki is a great side option if you don't think that Darklaw is the best option at the moment. He's a higher attack point monster, and also for the fact that he can attack directly. But if you were to run over a monster with him, he's able to search Mass Change from the deck, so he's another searcher for your Mass Change lineup. So, great attacker over the option of using Darklaw for setting up going first. Moving on to our Elemental Hero lineup, we have Elemental Hero the Shining. Shining is a great target for your Miracle Fusion plays, mainly because your Miracle Fusion will actually buff him up a little bit more. And if he's ever removed from the field and sent to the graveyard by any means, he is able to grab 2 of your Elemental Hero cards and return them back to your hand from your banish zone. So usually you can banish the materials that you want to get back to your hand, and as soon as he leaves, you get them back, and you're able to start your plays again. Your other target for your Light Elemental Hero is Sunriser. I love this card, honestly. Like, it is the first fusion card that I usually go into to start my plays, mainly because he gets your Miracle Fusion for Shining or your other Elemental Hero target, and on top of that, on your opponent's turn, if, like, any of your other Elemental Heroes are attacked while he's out on the field, he has the quick effect to just remove a card from play. Like, it's great. Like, just pop it and get on with it. Like, you can pop the attacker if you want to, if it's too much of a problem. So, I run one of them mainly for the reason that, like, extra deck space is tight, but if I could run more of them, I could. He's great. Other Elemental Hero option is Absolute Zero. Raigeki on legs. What else can I say? He is the Mass Change target if you want to make the board wipe combo with Acid. Like, fantastic little card. You can crash him into something if it's too big and just take care of your opponent's entire board. Like, fantastic little card. And then we're going to just go and clean up here. Clean this off a little bit. And move into our extra options. So for our obligatory Dark Calling target, we run Malicious Bane. This is the more expensive part of the combo that was added in that's a little bit more pricey. You don't necessarily need to run him, but he's great. He's another Raigeki on legs that gets stronger once you blow up monsters. And he allows all of your heroes to still attack. Like, there is no reason not to run him if you don't have the budget. But like I said, if you're a little hurt on money, you don't need to run him at all. Our other option is Vision Hero Trinity. This was originally a combo that went in with Vision, like with your Vision Hero combo alongside Mystic Mine, because usually your opponent could set up a giant board, like say you're going against Drytrons, for example. They set up a nicely sized board. They get out something like a searchable Vanity's Ruler, play it out. You play Mystic Mind, of course you know that it completely negates all effects, and then you bring out Trinity, and he becomes a 5k attacker that's able to swing over everything and deal massive damage. So he's a great OTK machine. Our one Super Poly target that we play in the deck is Predaplan Dragostapelia. Honestly, I feel this could be swapped out with Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. if you really wanted to, but I prefer Jargus Stapili over the fact that it is a quick effect negation. Just place a counter on anything, it becomes level 1, and its effects are negated. If anything, beyond being effect negation, it screws with synchro decks. I run him over Sharding Venom Fusion for that one fact. And then we run 2 Cross Crusader going into our Link lineup. He is our obligatory special summon a Destiny hero from the grave and get a search. He's also our first Link 2 target that you usually go into. So setting that up, he's a really great card to go into like your plays and get like your materials that you need. You don't usually keep him around for long, but he's great for a play extender. Next Link monster you play, Wonder Driver. This is the one you usually want to end on your board with. He's the one that recycles your fusion spells, so you don't lose them after the first usage. The thing is, though, you have to special summon to the zone that is beneath him. So don't try to put him like in any like zone that you don't think you're going to be using, because he's very valuable in extending your plays and making insurance for the next turn. And then for our last option, we play 1 extra hero Dread Decimator. He doesn't necessarily come into play most often. I would say if I were to remove him for any other option, I would probably put in Boral Sword, because you can easily make 4 bodies on this deck, like easily. But he's a great option to give all of your heroes a passive buff that he points to, and himself, and he does piercing. I mean, overall, just great monster, great lineup. And then moving on from that, we can go in and showcase a combo and pause the video.